Splatoon 2 was my proper introduction into the series with the Splatfest world premiere. The world and characters intrigued me, and when I got to the game, the first thing I played was the single player campaign. Although, after finishing it, something bothered me, and that was the depiction of Callie. As a new fan at the time, it felt like she was missed potential and barely utilised in the campaign. Now being a long-time fan of the series, I wanted to go back and look at everything in her time as an antagonist. I am going in release order to find out the full story to answer was I right about her being a disappointing antagonist. The quickest answer is that I am fully wrong and a dumbass. The long answer is... The inciting incident for this chapter in Callie's story is the Callie vs Marie Splatfest. For the final Splatfest in the first Splatoon game, the idols went head to head in this intense finale. During the build-up, Callie and Marie made a solo song each, Bomb Rush Blush for Callie and Tide Goes Out for Marie. These solo songs were made to represent each team, but unintentionally these solo songs opened the opportunity for solo careers, which we will talk about soon. For the Splatfest announcements, both of them don't seem too concerned, unlike the tension between Off the Hook and Splatoon 2's Final Fest. They both have playful banter and everything seems fine between the two. The Splatfest comes to an end with Marie taking victory. Both characters have a really sweet interaction of praising each other. Both of them take the results well, showing their bond is stronger than this competition and this test of their relationship. Callie even says Squid Sisters forever. I don't think this quote aged well though. Splatoon 2 was announced at the Nintendo Switch presentation, and in the announcement trailer we can see Marie but no Callie, although she was confirmed to return. On April 25, 2017, the Squid Sisters stories began. This was a story about the Squid Sisters set in between Splatoon 1 and 2, being a prelude to Octo Callie. It was hosted on Nintendo's website, with each chapter being released every few days until the final chapter being released on May 18th. Let's read through and see what the story entails. The story starts around 9 months after the final Splatfest. For comparison, Splatoon 2 takes place 2 years after the final Splatfest. This is a recap of the Callie vs Marie Splatfest, establishing that the Squid Sisters took the Splatfest well and that they are strong as ever, for now. The final Splatfest grew the Squid Sisters' popularity, from Inkopolis idols to the biggest stars in the Inkling world. Due to their solo songs, this caused them to have more work apart. Callie took on guest appearances on variety shows while Marie continued her music career, appearing on music shows and performing live concerts. This chapter expresses that they are inseparable. They moved in together and in the game it does not show them separated at any point until this time. This story is a flip on its head. They are always together, now because of their busy careers they are barely together. Marie has the day off and tidies the apartment. Due to her being alone doing busy work, she starts to worry if Callie is actually troubled by the Splatfest results. But by the way Callie is, sure she would be a bit upset about it, but she would be happier that Marie won it. Due to her schedule being delayed, Callie had some time off. She thought Marie was off as well but could not find her in the apartment, so she ventures out to look for her. She has also noticed Marie feeling down as well. She finds Marie with Krusty Sean at a cafe. Because she sees her so happy talking to Sean, she decides to come home. Marie later arrives home to be surprised by Callie and they decide to go shopping together. Callie clearly feels Marie is troubled, but she is going to do her best to fix this. This really brings out Callie's caring side. They both head to Awawana Mall together to go shopping and then they get some lunch. They both haven't had time together for a while due to their busy schedules, so during lunch they catch up with each other talking about the work they have been doing. They both chat about the shopkeepers of Inkopolis Plaza and even setting up where some of the shopkeepers end up during the events of Splatoon 2. A key moment being that Callie tells Marie she saw her talking to Krusty Sean, which surprises Marie. They even bring up Captain Cuttlefish with either of them not seeing him for a while, but they aren't worried because the world seems at peace. They both seem at peace as well, finally getting some time together and both thinking that they have fixed this awkward moment in their relationship. What a happy ending. I'm glad this story is finished. Wait, what do you mean there's more chapters? Marie has some time off so she decides to visit her home, Calamari County. Marie invited Callie but Callie was busy for that day. Waving Marie off at the train station, she promised Marie she would go tomorrow. When Marie arrives, she is greeted by her parents. They talk for a while and then when her parents bring up Callie, she realises she has no idea how well Callie is doing. There is no need to worry, she will arrive home tomorrow. Marie thought bringing them both home would bring them together again and maybe fix this anxiety that Marie has, but instead makes Marie more anxious. This makes her question how Callie feels, and makes her realise that maybe this attempt of bringing them together and being happy again has caused Callie to become the most distant from her at the most crucial point of their relationship. The next day rolls around. Marie goes to the train station to wait for Callie to arrive, but she wasn't there. She thinks she slept in and would arrive later. She continued to wait and wait, but Callie didn't show up at all. She calls Callie's manager. They thought she was in a hurry to get to Calamari County, and then Marie tried to ring their apartment, but no one answered. Marie starts to panic about where Callie has gone, and decides the next day to go back to Inkopolis to find Callie. Once she arrives back at her apartment, there is no sign of Callie even coming home yesterday. Meaning between Callie finishing work and coming home, she went missing. This mirrors chapter 3 with Marie looking for Callie instead of Callie looking for Marie, and instead of finding Callie safe and sound, she's gone, cultivating in Marie's insecurities reaching their breaking point. Marie arrives at Octo Valley with the snow globe holding DJ Octavio being broken. With no clues about Callie, she heads back to Inkopolis. It turns out the Great Zapfish has been stolen again, and Marie starts to wonder if Octavio was the culprit. With Captain Cuttlefish not being around, she needs to take matters into her own hands. She needs to find a recruit in the hot new location to help her get to the bottom of all this. Their conversation at Taurana Mall from chapter 4 coming back to Marie's mind, with Callie seeing Marie with Sean. She questions why did Callie not join them, realising Callie has felt distant, maybe Marie's worries are justified. Now that we know the culprit, Marie is determined to get Callie back, showing she'll do anything she can to rescue her cousin, taking up what she has learned from her grandpa. This chapter implies Callie broke Octavio out of the snow globe, with her being the only person around who knows of its location. Octavio could have appealed to Callie with her being at her lowest point so far. She's distant from Marie, stressed about work, and with Callie's compassion, Octavio may have opened up about the Octarian crisis, any means to get free. With further evidence in the timeline which we will discuss, this seems likely. I really love this story. It adds an intriguing prelude to Splatoon 2 and establishes Callie and Marie's long-time relationship. The story slowly getting sadder and adding more tension really elevates both Callie and Marie, both of them knowing there's a rift between them but they don't fix it. You can see them drift apart, with a twist of a happy ending of them both being together, then drifted apart even more with the last couple of chapters increasing the tension. The time when Marie is furthest away from Callie is when Callie goes missing. They both get to really shine in a new environment outside the game and as themselves, not serving either role as pop stars or agents, but as their everyday selves having everyday troubles. This story was great for developing the Squid Sisters and their relationship in an interesting way for both new and returning fans. My biggest problem with this story is that it is not available to read in game. It is only available on the Nintendo websites. The story should have been in the game as well. Have it be an item you receive when you start the story mode. This would have made newer players get familiar with the Squid Sisters, along with returning fans who are unfamiliar with the story to get to read it as well. It would have also elevated both of their roles in the story with this extra background information being so easily accessible. On May 17th, 2017, the Splatoon 2 single player trailer was released, with the poster being shown at the ending with a sinister laugh from Callie. Not that one. The full poster for the single player was released too, finally giving us a clearer look at Callie, depicting her seemingly as the main antagonist. Only her head is shown with one key addition, which are the shades. Callie has previously been portrayed with sunglasses in Splatoon 1 single player with her Agent 1 outfit. The idea of Callie, the sweetest and most upbeat character, becoming the villain is a great subversion of the duo. Out of the two, you would expect Marie to be the villain. I'm not saying she's villainous, but she is cold in her retorts and more serious, which are more common attributes of villains. Now we arrive at Splatoon 2. With a strong setup to the story for the Squid Sisters going forward, let's see how well Callie is depicted as an antagonist. I went through every mention of Callie in dialogue, as well as Callie's role and effect on both the story and the world of Octo Canyon to see the full extent of her influence. I will bring up the most notable parts throughout Octo Canyon related to Callie. After beating the tutorial for Splatoon 2, you are greeted to a news broadcast by Off the Hook, the idols fulfilling the Squid Sisters roles in Splatoon 2. After reliving the trauma of the unskippable stage selection, they discuss the Great Zapfish and Callie are missing. With a mysterious character in the corner of the square standing over a grate, you approach them and they disappear down the grate with you following them. Once you follow them, you enter Octo Canyon, with the person revealed to be Marie. She introduces herself saying that she is from the Squid Sisters, your character, Agent 4, having no idea who they are. In this intro dialogue, Marie does not mention to Agent 4 her main intention of recruiting them, which is to find Callie, but Callie is brought up in thought. This is because Marie doesn't feel that Agent 4 is up to the task and is quite distant to them for a while. Already at the introduction area, Cuttlefish Cabin, we can already see Callie's presence. On the right side of the cabin you can see the pet marshmallow Callie gets Marie from when they were young. This was revealed in the Grasshopper vs Ants Splatfest artwork. I like the presence of this little guy. They clearly mean a lot to Marie and resemble a big moment of Callie-Marie's relationship. Marie bringing them along shows she's trying to keep everything close she has to Callie in these dire times. Reaching the end of Sector 2, there's a radio transmission cutscene. Marie brings up the feminine decoration to the Octarian domes, but more importantly Callie appears. Her signal is poor though, so she is misunderstood by Marie and Sheldon and they don't suspect anything. Level 10, the first level of Sector 3, we see Callie's influence clearly in the environmental design, which we will get to later. In level 11, Marie says the Squid Sisters catchphrase, "Stay fresh," and after beating the level she says "You're getting good at this." This shows Marie has taken a liking to 4, being more supportive and more open about herself and the Squid Sisters. At the end of Sector 3, Marie finally reveals she's been looking for Callie, with Agent 4 already knowing from the news. Callie appears, finally getting her message of "leave now" through. Marie doesn't recognise it's Callie but threatens her back. Each sector, if you talk to Marie in the overworld, she has different lines of dialogue the more you progress. In Sector 4, Marie says out of frustration, "I can only keep a conversation with Callie," expressing that she misses her. Throughout the levels until now, Marie occasionally sings, and when she does she refers to the sky. In level 18, Marie reveals when she and Callie were kids they counted the stars at night. She expresses discomfort, getting more worried about Callie now time has gone on, but also keeping close both memories of Callie and their bond with music as well. After beating Sector 4, there's another radio transition with a nice callback to Splatoon 1 single player, with Callie and Marie finally getting an exchange. Callie tells Marie that it's dangerous to go on, showing her empathy, but when ignored her villainous side has an outburst taking control. We reach Sector 5, the final area of the game. If you talk to Marie in the overworld, she says she hopes Callie comes back soon. She's smiling, showing although worried she has full faith in Agent 4 and knows they will succeed. Even using Stay Fresh Agent 4 in level 24, still embracing the Squid Sisters and her confidence in 4. We can see Callie's presence throughout the campaign with the dialogue by Marie. Callie's present through thought and then eventually dialogue when Marie gets more comfortable with 4. Now that we have reached the finale, I want to talk about Callie's influence on Octo Canyon itself before we talk about the final boss. Callie's influence is constantly shown with the enemy ink. This time the ink has glitter in it, with Sunken Scroll 23 revealing that she did this alongside the other decorations present in both the environment and the enemies in Octo Canyon. She is present in the music tracks. Her voice samples are being used in songs show the Octarians respect Callie and her previous work, though manipulating her music in their own image just like how they did with Callie herself. Callie could have redesigned the Octo Troopers. Their turrets look like gachapon machines and recycling bins, contrasting the industrial militaristic look in Splatoon 1, making them more appealing. The new enemies have been influenced too by Callie's redecoration, such as tenterhooks having rollerblades and octo hurlers having glow sticks on their chairs, them also spewing rololium, which resembles the roller, her weapon of choice. Callie could also be behind designing her shades as well as the Octolin shades, which are more feminine than their goggles in Splatoon 1. Until now, purposefully, I've neglected to talk about the bosses. This is because I believe all of them have been influenced by Callie as well. Firstly, the Octo Oven. The oven produces bread, and the first Splatfest was rice versus bread in Japan. Although Callie was on Team Rice, I believe this is appealing to the past at the time she was with Marie and Happy. Boss 2, the Octo Samurai. They wield a roller, which is Callie's choice of weapon, along with it being stated in the Art of Splatoon 2 book that they are a fan of Callie. Boss 3 is the Neo Octo Stomp. Octo Stomp was the first boss in Splatoon 1 story mode, again appealing to her past but her times as an agent with Marie. Boss 4, the Octo Shower, has a rubber duck named Quackers. Quackers has a bow that heavily resembles Callie's hair, alongside the name sounding like Crackers because Callie is also Crackers. All the redecorations are playful and silly, trying to cover the industrial world that the Octarians live in. The Octarians seemingly live in a distorted reality, such as TVs portraying the sky, along with man-made structures being altered in a way that looks off and abstract. It's an alternate world where there's no logic. Callie doing all these redecorations gives the Octarian world more of a whimsical flair, with glitters and stickers. It's silly and fun. It's a perfect representation of Callie. She would want to live in a dreamland to escape her current slow moment in her life, and the Octarians would also want to live in a dream world escaping their living conditions. The Octarian world being out of order with Callie's redecorating could resemble that Callie's world is chaotic at the moment, with her wanting to settle it and be herself again. Let's talk about the final boss, the Octobot King 2 featuring Callie. Starting off, let's finally talk about Callie's appearance. First of all, the outfit is a complete opposite to Callie's Squid Sisters outfit, being a crop top and shorts contrasting her dress, with the grilled squid lines being vertical rather than horizontal. She has an octo tentacle on her head instead of the sashimi. Callie is wearing some high-tech animated shades named the Hypno Shades. This is how she is controlled by DJ Octavio. We can't see Callie's eyes, showing she has lost her former self. The eyes are the window to the soul. The shades could also be a reference to her Agent 1 outfit. She has an octopus tattoo. Tattoos are usually permanent and a symbol representing the wearer. This suggests her allegiance to the Octarians as a permanent commitment to them, even if it's a lie due to the brainwashing. She wears sparkly tights which resembles the decorations with her use of glitter in Octo Canyon. Now let's talk about the fight. The arena itself is a full-on concert this time, with the crowd of Octarians surrounding the arena. The arena itself is the middle of Inkopolis Plaza, the time where Callie was happiest, being with Marie performing, but is now twisted so she is performing for the Octarians. A really nice detail when you play the final boss is that the ink colours are Callie and Marie's colours, with both sides as allies using that ink to fight each other as well. Callie's redecoration has also influenced Octavio's combat as well. In the first game he just uses the Octobot King machine to attack along with troops. However, in Splatoon 2, Octavio uses the machine again, but also his arsenal is increased with Callie's bombs. Callie's influence has been that strong that she has reached the top of Octarian society, from the bombs having her iconography such as her eyes on the suction bombs, her logo on the splat bombs, and of course the calamari bombs, even influencing the Octobot King itself. Callie first says she told Marie to leave, which we saw previously at the end of Sector 4, being annoyed Marie didn't take her advice, partly out of love and partly being controlled by the shades. Callie's full angst is on display, ignoring Marie and starting the show with the Hypno Shades being displayed to their full effect. Callie's attitude is fully shown in this fight. She's more serious, being the antithesis to her regular self. She fully embraces the concert by singing and hyping up the show. Callie puts on a stern diva persona, scolding Octavio by getting hit and acting in charge, commanding him. She's generally more aggressive. This character change is so cool, fully flipping Callie's character on her head, making her this villainous pop star. This is a strong moment for both the Squid Sisters. Callie has a new partner replacing Marie, and fully embracing what made her and Marie so close but in this sinister way, with Marie pleading for Callie to fight back against the brainwashing, having to use her skills to fight back against this nightmare to save Callie. During the fight, Callie and Marie battle by using their solo songs, with them combining to become a track named Tidal Rush. The solo songs that instigated Callie becoming an antagonist unintentionally. This is an intense song with Marie pouring her heart out to Callie, with the only song she sings without her. Callie retaliating back, using her song both figuratively and literally, I suppose, as a weapon to fight back. Music is what brought them both together, now it is being used to fight each other. Like many Octarians before, Callie is saved via Calamari Incantation, and also Marie's amazing sniping skills. Both are reunited and they perform the Heavenly Melody, defeating DJ Octavio and being happily together again. Arriving at the credits, we are greeted by the new Squid Sisters song, Fresh Start. I see what they did there. This song is calmer than their usual work but still upbeat. This is a really nice song representing the Squid Sisters are back and being able to continue their solo careers as well as their careers as a duo. Both Callie and Marie complement each other while singing, finishing each other's lyrics as well as singing together. They also sing parts of Bomb Rush Blush and Tide Goes Out, but now in harmony. Their solo songs represents the individual, and singing the solo songs together expresses that they are a duo again. The artwork even showing them looking into the distance with a fresh start for them, seeing themselves on a new path together. However, just like Splatoon 1, if you replay the final boss you get alternate dialogue. The fight has a few notable moments, like how Callie just wanted to put the shades back on because they were cool. Yep, that sounds like Callie, as well as Marie being more aggressive this time. More annoyed at Callie being reckless, she even brings up the Callie vs Marie Splatfest just to spite Callie. Now both of them moved on from that being a worry that split them apart, to using it in a cocky yet confident way because Marie knows she can rescue Callie again with Agent 4's help. The sunken scrolls are a hidden collectible in each level, and once found that page is available to be looked at. They usually give off story and lore information. The sunken scrolls also give more information about Callie and Marie's solo careers. These are sunken scrolls from 20 to 23, let's read them through. Sunken Scroll 20 is an advertisement for a study show Marie is doing. I like the self-awareness saying there will be a lot of procrastination, I can relate to that myself. They even show her procrastinating in the picture. Also in the picture she looks exhausted, with all those stacks of papers to work through, though I don't blame her. The stacks of papers also being an allegory as well for all the new solo work she's been doing, along with the mounting pressure from the rift with Callie. Sunken Scroll 21 shows Callie being overwhelmed by the press and fans after arriving at an airport. She looks visibly distressed, with even the description saying she smiled through it all, but it's clear to this reporter that the pressure of fame is getting to her. We finally get to see how much Callie's new career is affecting her. We've been informed of this previously by the Squid Sisters stories, but never saw it. She is also wearing her Agent 2 outfit. This could be to disguise herself from the fame, but she's that famous that she can't hide using a disguise anymore. Sunken Scroll 22 is a blog post by Callie. You can see she's trying to stay positive towards her fans, but even she can't hide that the work is too much for her. She mentions she's been alone, potentially making this blog post so she can feel some company. Although clearly feeling down, she tries to keep positive, seeing the good in things like how Callie always has. Sunken Scroll 23 shows a pitch for redecorating the Octarian domes. This is clearly done by Callie, adding elements we see in the campaign. A key point being the sad and happy Octarian, showing part of this redecoration could be out of compassion towards the Octarians. However, the text is also written like an advertisement, showing self-awareness especially with the evil lair mention. From this text this infers the pitch was made by Callie when she was wearing the hypno shades, and as we know she keeps her personality but with a villainous touch when under their influence. That's really the end of Callie in Octo Canyon, but Callie's role got expanded more post-launch. Callie has a very strong presence in the single player campaign. She's literally everywhere. She's constantly present with the enemy ink, but also expressed through the presentation. She decorated the levels, she decorated the enemies, the music tracks having her feature in them. Callie's developed by Marie throughout the story, and through this rescue of Callie and gaining confidence in 4, Marie embraces the Squid Sisters, with it culminating in a powerful encounter with Callie and Marie using their music to fight one another, finally bringing them back together, wrapping it up perfectly with Calamari Incantation. Callie's new personality being a flip on its head is a really interesting way of expanding her character in this villain arc. I really enjoyed the world building presented through Callie, adding a fresh flair to the Octarian domes. The final boss is also a great encounter in terms of presentation, being in the area the Squid Sisters shine the brightest. There's some really good stuff here. The devs did a wonderful job of making Callie have a big impact on the campaign. My biggest issue is the lack of physical presence. I wish her and Marie interacted more in the cutscenes to add more tension between the two, but the final boss and the credits are a great finale to their story. The most notable expansion to her role being the 3.0 update. Announced in a Nintendo Direct on the 8th of March 2018, Callie would be added to Cuttlefish Cabin in Octo Canyon. After beating the main story, she appears chatting with Marie at Cuttlefish Cabin and you can interact with them. I love the first interaction you have with her. Remember me? The one that tried to kill you? Yeah, that's our Callie. Callie is wearing her casual clothing, which is just the Agent 1 outfit minus the shades. Callie wearing this outfit may imply her stardom is settled, and she can wear this outfit without being mobbed by fans and the press. This is a nice epilogue to the story, with Callie and Marie having both back and forth dialogue. They reference the Squid Sisters story with Callie seeing Marie with Krusty Sean, with Marie inviting her over to Krusty Sean sandwiches after her work is over, concluding a major part of their rift. Callie is still tired from work, but she is less stressed and her joyful self. Callie and Marie are together again, with them continuing their solo careers, but they are seeing each other more. She oddly serves as a stat tracker to multiplayer battles, giving you random stats if you keep talking to her. She also gives you weapon of the day fortunes as well. It's nice to see stats I suppose, but just add an actual stat tracker into the game. The Splatoon art books also serve as major lore expansions as well, with Callie and Octavio being further developed. We find out more information of why Octavio kidnapped Callie. It is mentioned in the book that kidnapping Callie boosted Octavio's approval ratings, which is how much the Octarians think he is a good leader. This will be related to the events of Splatoon 1. In Splatoon 1, during the final boss battle with DJ Octavio, the Squid Sisters perform Calamari Incantation. This reverses the brainwashing, causing a lot of Octarians to leave the Octarian domes and rise to the surface. This would mean the Octarian society would lose faith in him as a leader, for being defeated by a teenager, along with losing their source of power to keep the society stable, along with losing a lot of his people. Yeah, I'm not voting for him in the next election. However, he wasn't going to let all this keep him down. He was going to fix the Octarian society, but go one step further and create a utopia for them with Callie's help. After the release of Octo expansion, a Splatoon 2 relationship chart was made, explaining how the characters felt about each other. This adds further context for the single player by showing the relationships between Callie, Marie and Octavio during the time of the single player campaign. The chart features stuff we already knew, such as Marie knowing something is off about Callie and Callie being very lonely due to being busy. The interesting part about this area of the chart is Callie and DJ Octavio's connection. Octavio wanting Callie on his side to quote bring the world to its knees, but Callie saying I'll hear you out, suggesting she willingly went along with Octavio at the start at least. This shows Octavio still has a bit of vengeance left inside him, especially after the events of Splatoon 1. The biggest unanswered question related to Callie in this time is why did Octavio kidnap her? With all this information, I think Callie visited Octavio and he appealed to her to kidnap her, saying she could decorate the place, appealing to a carefree time. She was really stressed from work before and would want to escape that, but she could never leave. The second level is called Welcome to Octopia, supporting this idea of a utopia of relaxation and fun, a full embrace of a fantasy land that she and the Octarians can live in, away from all the troubles. Octavio could have even told her about the living crisis that the Octarians face, appealing to her compassionate side because she is the most kind-hearted Splatoon character. Octavio cares for his people and wants a utopia. Kidnapping one of the biggest stars of the Inkling world to perform for you, her music made a career, she can now elevate his and be an idol for Octarian society. The Inklings took back his means of survival. He takes the Zapfish back on top of taking one of the people the Inklings cherish for what they did in his eyes, which was leave his society in crisis again. The Squid Sisters being separated means they cannot perform Calamari Incantation, therefore more people can't leave. Also, letting Callie redecorate to make the Octarian world seem appealing after so many left, as well as have her perform as their idol would boost his ratings. This is also supported by the final Sunken Scroll page, which is a page full of stickers of each area like a souvenir book. I think Callie just wanted company as well. She was lonely. It is true her time with the Octarians wasn't bad, and like we mentioned before, she even got to decorate around their homes, so it's not like she was treated badly for the most part. So why were the Hypnoshades used if she willingly went along? She probably wanted to go home and Octavio wouldn't allow it, so he used the Hypnoshades to keep her around, using her talent to progress his career. A key thing is that the Hypnoshades does not change Callie's personality fully. She is still upbeat and hot-headed, but loyal to Octavio and more villainous. When she says leave now, part of it is Callie being concerned about Marie, wishing her to be safe, with the Sector 4 dialogue warning Marie that it's dangerous to keep going. The Hypnoshades also represents Callie's escapism. She wanted to escape her busy life. These shades amplify that feeling and use it to control Callie. They are the physical manifestation of this desire and fantasy land she has created. It's also why she wants Marie to go. The Hypnoshades have consumed Callie's thinking, but they haven't consumed her heart, leading her to wish Marie away, both out of safety and out of the way of Callie leaving this fantasy land the Hypnoshades have given her. No matter what the reason, Callie has no resentment towards the Octarians for kidnapping her, showing how caring she can be along with wanting to help them out. It really shows she puts others above herself. Although this story is concluded, Splatoon 3 has a couple of features relating to Callie's story in Splatoon 2. In Return of the Mammalians, Callie is the one that follows you around the different sectors, giving her more screen time. She is also present throughout the entire adventure after the tutorial as well. In Grand Festival, a new Squid Sisters song named Blushing Tide was released. This is a song of the Squid Sisters reimagining Tidal Rush. A song once used for battle is now sung in harmony and recontextualised for celebration. Octavia also being present at Grand Festival, being recognised for his music, wraps a nice bow on this area of the story. We've gone through the entire history of Callie's time as an antagonist. What do I think of it now? I think it was executed very well but could have been done better. I feel a lot more positive towards Octo Callie now. The Squid Sisters stories was an amazing prelude to the story, giving a sad introduction to Splatoon 2's story and giving strong development to the Squid Sisters. I think her influence on Octo Canyon is very strong too. Her influence is constantly there with the sparkly ink, but also the environmental changes, the enemy changes and the bosses being influenced by her also adds to her character and gives her more charm. The fusion of styles of the industrial Octarian look being mixed with Callie's feminine charm makes the campaign feel distinct from the last and shows there's a lot of thought behind this fresh take on the Octarians. Her outfit is phenomenal, with having some great imagery representing this new turn for the character. Being an antagonist pushes her music and her persona in an unexpected direction, taking what we love about Callie but making her cold in both her personality and the music she performs. This is a highlight moment of Callie throughout the series. The biggest weakness is that she barely has any screen time in the story. I think she could have appeared more during the cutscenes at least. Each cutscene should have had Callie and Marie clash, with the tension between them two growing over the story, making Marie more concerned about Callie adding more stakes to the story. The post-launch additions were great, addressing the lack of screen time issue that I have, although it's not a full fix, it is better now. The additions bring more depth to her story. Callie being added into Octo Canyon so she gets more of a presence, alongside the artbook and relationship chart adding more context towards Callie being kidnapped, discovering that her kidnapping wasn't out of sinister reasons, recontextualising the story in a sadder way, adding more depth, which is what I wanted when I first played. She has so much more presence than I realised when I first played, especially with the ink and her presence in the music tracks. At the time when I first played I didn't notice any of this, but now understanding the story and looking through it thoroughly, my initial impression was a bad take and I'm happy it was a bad take. I can appreciate the story now fully experiencing it. This was really fun going back and learning more about Octo Callie. She played her role amazingly and the extra additions to the story really elevate her. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments, and I'm curious what you all think about Callie's role as an antagonist. Thank you for watching.